Okay, so why am I here? I'm here for several reasons, but the most important is to start dialogues about how we can make lives easier for the next generations that'll become our leaders in the future. I'm here to converse about the current ways we prepare our young people for adulthood, attempt to expand the scope of how we think about that preparation, and to gain insights from educational staff as well as others about various related topics along the way. That's the most condensed explanation I can possibly think of to describe what I really want to do with my time. The long version is this. I wish to help tell the story of our educational system and the people it affects, both yesterday and today, in ways that we haven't heard before. I want to build a platform that combines insights from education staff, parents, former students, and anyone who might shine a light on unique perspectives relating to human development. I wish to highlight the many different states of education across our country, and maybe someday the world, so we may know more concretely what is possible with enough teamwork. I wish to facilitate discussion about the impact mental health has in our classrooms and early lives, and to spark more conversation linked between mental health professionals, schools, and parents. Above all of these things, I wish to build a one-stop shop resource for young adults to be given access to upon reaching senior year of high school, so they may feel less lost during the isolating and tumultuous transition into adulthood. The feeling of safety is imperative to have in order to become productive in the first place. I believe that creating such a resource, a survival guide to adulthood, is the first step to ensuring our next generation can go into adulthood feeling regulated and capable. I believe there are 3 general steps to living a fulfilled life. The first step is establishing safety, then maintaining security, and finally, gaining empowerment. But you can't skip steps. Safety is the ability to know that you possess enough resources and information to survive. Security is knowing that those resources aren't going anywhere. Empowerment is possessing the ability to truly pursue your ambitions without fear. My dream is to help make sure that the next generation reaches empowerment on a scale higher than we've ever seen. I know that might sound ambitious, but it's truly what I believe is possible. In my opinion, we have a responsibility to constantly think of new ways we can lay the foundation of that safety and security for our young people leading into their adulthood. This way, they can spend more time thinking about empowerment instead of simple survival. It's my belief that we can always be doing more in the Department of Human Development, as communities and as individuals, beyond the status quo. I want to inspire other people to think the same way. I want to get us excited about passing the torch to the next generation in a way that hasn't been done before, because we have the technology now to communicate more effectively than ever in the past. We have the ability to send messages that'll last long after we're gone, in our communities and in our families, and I don't see enough people taking advantage of that opportunity. We have the ability to publish our own dialogues and spark intergenerational discussions in a completely new way. We can ask questions of our future leaders, inform them during their early adulthoods, and leave behind a roadmap to where our current ambitions would lead us, which is another main mission of mine. I wish to put effort towards documenting where we hope to be in the future. We have the ability to guide our next generations with an effectiveness that's never been seen before. To pass down unfiltered wisdom and show them where we think things should be going. I believe this isn't just an ability either. I feel it's a responsibility to document our aspirations and past journeys as much as possible. This way the next generation will have a very rich and dense first square to start from. That's the point. Establishing where the starting line is, and then challenging the next generation to take it further than our imaginations could even conceive, without moving backwards. Among the many different motivations for my attempt to start this dialogue, the one that stands out is my own catalog of experience with the beginning of adulthood. Immediately after graduating high school, I completely shut down and didn't do anything for an entire year. I didn't know how to interview for a job, didn't know what my skills were, and didn't know what I wanted to do. It felt like my entire life flipped upside down and I was completely incapable of flipping it back again. I wasn't quite ready to go to college and hadn't really become adequately prepared for what to do in that case, so I just didn't do anything at all. I stagnated and won't be able to ever get that time back. I want to try my best to make sure nobody ever has to feel that wasted potential again. I wasn't the only one who had trouble with this transition either. I know someone who once told me that everything started going wrong for them once they graduated. That the structure, guidance, and obligation of school being ripped from them had led to mistakes being made in their life at that time. I asked this person one day, what if I were to go to the schools and tell the stories of how we felt? Would that make you feel better? And the answer was yes. I can't help but wonder, what if somebody had thought to make an adulthood guidebook for us? How would our lives be different? Unfortunately, there's no way to go back into the past and find out. Anything can be scary the first time you go through it, and each individual has different reactions to that fright. Some have a better go of it than others. Some seem not to struggle at all, and the transition appears seamless from the outside looking in. But I can tell you confidently that the amount of people from our communities struggling with that same transition right at this very moment is not zero. There are people scratching and clawing in those same ways as before without having their stories listened to, without being given the resources needed to steady the ship. I want to change that. I want to ask people what they think could have been done to better prepare them for the world, and give them a genuine ear to tell the answer to, without any stigma placed on the honesty of the responses. Our world doesn't have time for stigma or hurt feelings about the feedback. We only have time to start focusing more on how to keep getting better, because if we don't, the same cycle of struggle will continue, and that cycle of struggle only cripples us. I want to see a world where even the smallest of towns can produce large results from even its most struggling student. I believe that the creation of more free, practical, and intellectual resources beyond primary education is the first step. Resources that build the safety and security I talked about earlier. Don't get me wrong, everybody has Google, but I haven't seen a comprehensive guide of both online resources and advice coming straight from the people who have gone through the experiences they need help with. There are some people who may say that's what parents are for, but why not establish an equal playing field for all young people? A base level of practical adult knowledge that isn't dictated by the lottery of who your parents happen to be, what they happen to know and have time to teach. In my opinion, there's no argument to fight against the fact that we should create a resource for the people who need it. My biggest hope is to reach out to educators, administrators, parents, and former students to find more people who feel the same way. And all of that is square one. If you feel interested in any of these topics and also feel like you may have insight to contribute to the show, you can DM me on Instagram or Gmail me at square1.tx, spelled out square1.tx. I would love to hear from you even if you don't have any plans to contribute to the show and just want to talk about these topics with me. I would also love to work out a way for people to contribute anonymously to the show, maybe through those same DMs and emails, and I could just read what you have to say. The show is definitely still in its infancy, and I'm excited for the idea of it growing over time, but who knows? Either way, I'm excited to talk about these things, and I will continue to talk about them regardless of if there's an audience out there waiting to hear it, because eventually there might be. But anyways, that's episode 0 down. I'm glad I've recorded it now, and see you next time.